Hello everybody. Today my task is a brief exercise number 8, which includes 4 subparagraphs. We will start with the item 8-1, where it says that there are 3 receivables transactions. So we need to indicate where these receivables are reported as accounts receivable, notes receivable, or other receivables on a balance sheet. The point A claims that advanced $10,000 they paid to an employee. Because salary payments applied not to sales but to operational expenses, it is not a payment for the good or inventory sold, so we need it to indicate as other receivables. The point B claims that the company received the promissory note of $34,000 for service performed. So it is obviously notes receivable. The point C claims that the company sold merchandise on account for $60,000 to a customer, so it should be reported as accounts receivable. We can easily verify the correctness of all our answers after their publication by clicking Submit Answer button on the right down corner of the current page. So the true answers we can see on my current page now. In brief exercise 8-2, we have to record the following transactions on the book of Concord Corporation, but only cost of the goods sold and price. As we can see, the point A claims that on July 1, Concord Corporation sold merchandise on account to Stacy Incorporated for $25,200 terms, 2% over 10 days, within 30 days. So in try for July 1 will be debit accounts receivable and credit sales revenue on the same amount of $25,200. The point B states that on July 8, Stacy Inc. Returned merchandise worth $2,400 to Concord Corporation. So in try for July 8 will be debit sales returns and allowances and credit accounts receivable for the same amount of $2,400. The point C claims that on July 11, Stacy Inc. paid for merchandise for full. So in tries for July 11 will be debit cash for the sum of $22,344, which we have got as 98% from the sum of $22,800 as a difference between initial amount of $25,200 and the sum of returned merchandise of $2,400. Then we need to debit sales discounts for $456, which we have got as a 2% from $22,800. And credit $22,800 as accounts receivable, which we have got as a difference between initial amount of $25,200 and the sum of returned merchandise of $2,400. In brief exercise 8-8, we have to determine the missing amounts on 3 promissory notes, represented in the points A, B, and C. In the point A, we need to determine first the maturity day for 60 days note from April 1. We can easily calculate that it will be May 31, where we, according to the rules, have excluded the first day or issue date of the note. Then, in accordance to the formula for computing interest, we should multiply the principal amount of $648,000 to annual interest rate, which is 9%, or 0.09. Then multiply this amount on 60 days and divide over 360 days, which is the time in terms of 1 year. And we will get the total interest of $9,720. In the point B, we need to determine the first maturity date for 30 days note from July 2. The same we can easily calculate that it will be August 1, where we, according to the rules, have also excluded the first day or the issue date of the note. Then we determine the annual interest rate as a quotient obtained by dividing total interest of $682 on product of sum of the principal, which is $90,920, and factor 0.08 we have obtained as a ratio of 30 days over 360 days. And as a result, we have got annual interest rate, which represented as a factor 0.09. In the point C, we need to determine first the maturity date for 6 months note from March 7. We can calculate that it will be September 7, where we, according to the rules, have included the first day or issue date of the note on the month basis. So, in accordance to the formula for computing interests, we multiply the sum of principal, which is 100,000, 13,270, on annual interest rate, which is 0.10, and then on time in terms of 1 year, which is 0.5, we have got it as a factor by dividing the 6 months over 12 months in the year. Afterwards we will get the total interest as a result, which will be $5,664. In brief exercise 8-11, part level submission, we need to compute 3M companies' receivable turnover in the point A. So we will do it by formula, which states that receivable turnover ratio will be equal to the fraction where net credit sales in numerator and average net receivables in denominator. So first we need to determine the sum of the average net receivables as a sum of the beginning net accounts receivables and ending net accounts receivables divided over 2. When we add $3.10 billion at the beginning of the year and $3.10 billion at the ending of the year, and then divided the sum over 2, we will get the same $3.10 billion, which represents average net account receivables. Then we need to divide net credit sales, which is $22.1 billion over $3.10 billion, and as a result we will get our accounts receivable turnover ratio, which will be equal 7.1 times. In the point B, we need to determine the average company's collection period, which we can determine as the fraction in the numerator of which will be the number of days in the year, 365 days, over our previous accounts receivable turnover ratio, and when we divide 365 days over 7.1 times, we will get 51.2 days, which is our average collection period. So that's all my assignment for today. If you will have any questions, please ask me in homework support discussion forum. Thank you.